in the challenge match in Ballinagore in May 1993. The man on your screen at the moment is Niall Barrett, who's very familiar actually with both teams. He refereed the National Football League final between Mayo and Galway, and indeed the Leinster Championship clash between Westmeath and Meath. He's travelled all the way from Carrigtwohill in East Cork to referee this match here in Roscommon. Niall Barrett starts this All-Ireland qualifier, and we look forward, and I'm sure it will be, a most interesting and indeed exciting game of football. Westmeath playing with wind advantage in this first half. First ball in towards Gerheven, and you can see the pace of the ball was a little bit too strong, aided by a rather blustery breeze here.
Yes, and in the Mayo cornerbacks, actually, they've both switched. Ray Connelly has gone over in Gerheven, and Gary Ruan is taking up Joe Fallon, so that's an interesting switch immediately.
Goalkeeper Peter Burke about to take this kick out as Paul Conway and James Nallen look on. Great catch by big midfielder Rory O'Connell. Ray Kennelly comes across. That's a fairly hefty challenge. Colin McMenamin is back there helping out his defence, and he wins a free. James Nallen drives it diagonally. It's well anticipated by Fergal Murray, who is certainly one of the most consistent performers for Westmeath. Ball is well knocked down towards Colin McMenamin again. But McMenamin takes too many steps as he was looking around to see if there was a colleague free. It's going to be a quickly taken free by Westmeath. That's a good ball in towards Paul Conway. Turning and scoring. Very good point by the centre half forward. Possession easily conceded by Colin McMenamin, and the subsequent sequence of play resulted in centre half forward kicking this straight over the crossbar. Peter Burke's kick out against the breeze is very long. Fergal Murray needs support outside, but it's not there. David Brady is looking around to try and see if anybody in the green and red is there, and the answer is negative. Gerheven chasing after him is Ray Kennelly, pumping that ball in towards Flanagan, faces the goalkeeper, and Burke saves splendidly. And Gary Ruan is there with Ray Kennelly to relieve the danger, but already the Westmeath full forward line are causing problems for Mayo.
Well, that was a wonderful pass actually from Heaven to Flanagan, who probably should have scored, but fair play to Peter Burke. He came out and smothered the ball very well.
Morris Sheridan, two Westmeath players go up into the clouds for it. Need to distribute it quickly. David Mitchell, former goalkeeper. Again, Gerheven. Ray Kennelly does very well here. And Mayo get into the Westmeath half of the field for the first time. The referee has blown his whistle for a challenge off the ball, and he wants the play to be halted because he wants to have just a finger wagging, I think, with Stephen Carolan, and in fact he's just ticked his name into his little black book. Meanwhile, play continues. Comes down towards Heaven. Hits off Ray Kennelly. There's a chance here. Fergal Wilson, and that's over the bar. Heaven, the veteran. Wilson, the teenager. And between them, they score Westmeath's second point. Wonderful interplay and great understanding.
Yes, and worrying from a Mayo point of view at that time, when Ray Connelly went for the ball with Gerheven, he shipped a very hard knock on the head, and I wouldn't be surprised actually if he has to come off after that knock. He's, I must say, a very unlucky player with injury.
That was a fairly hefty challenge, but he took it manly, but certainly he felt the full force and went down. And James Nallen, as you can see, is having a word at the other end with his manager, Pat Holmes. And obviously, James Nallen has spotted right from the centre of the field a strategy that needs to be in some way corrected from a Mayo perspective, as Peter Burke takes the kick out. Again, that's a great kick out against a very strong breeze. Westmeath dominating at half-back and midfield at the moment. This is Noel Kennelly trying to get the better of Fergal Wilson, and Wilson is fouled. And that's going to be another free for Westmeath. Rory O'Connell, big midfielder from Athlone, looking at the options. Jarheven makes a run. It's aimed at Paul Conway, who knocks it down to Heaven. Onto the trusty right boot, and there's a third white flag to be raised in Westmeath's favour. This is a brilliant start by the Midlanders. 3 points to the maroon and white. Still no score for Mayo. But remember, Westmeath are playing with a very strong breeze in the opening 35 minutes.
Yes, but they're a much busier team playing with greater urgency, and they've Mo Giroux into the full back line is what we anticipated is happening.
Viewers from RT1 News have just joined us. We welcome you to Dr. Hyde Park here on Network 2. It's Westmeath 3 points, Mayo no score. Westmeath playing with the wind in this first half, but dominating midfield is Rory O'Connell and David O'Shaughnessy. The point scorers were Fergal Wilson, Paul Conway, and just a moment ago, Jarheven, the Westmeath captain. And this is only Westmeath's second time going into foreign territory, going into the Westmeath half of the field. But Westmeath very much up for this game. And indeed, if you want to see this live, do switch over to us here on the Saturday game on Network 2. Brian Morley giving it back to the big midfielder David O'Shaughnessy. Paul Conway trying to knock it back. It's big Martin Flanagan. The ball inside is a good one. There's a chance here, but very good defending by Mayo. And they come away with it. James Nallen. And he had to use all his All-Star experience to deprive Westmeath of gaining further inroads on the scoreboard. James Nallen ties the boots as Peter Burke takes this free from Kilchimock, following in the footsteps of his uncle Eugene Lavin, who of course was the Mayo goalkeeper for a number of seasons. Again, Westmeath dominating that midfield area. David O'Shaughnessy down towards Joe Fallon. And the advantage is again for the maroon and white. Joe Fallon has won Leinster and All-Ireland under-21 medals, of course, 2 years ago. And he came into the senior panel and has been scoring consistently. 8 points against Wexford in the draw, 6 points in the replay, 4 points against Limerick. And here's his first in Roscommon against Mayo. The underage policy and success of the years has certainly given Westmeath grounds for optimism for the future, particularly at senior level. And for a man who only just got the call into the starting 15 at about 5:45, 10 to 6 this evening, it is a very good start. Westmeath have the breaking ball. This time it's Mick Ennis. This is going to be a throw ball, indicating by the actions and the signals that Niall Barrett, the referee, is giving. Colin McMenamin and Rory O'Connell. O'Connell just stretches out the arm. Great block down. There's a chance here. It's Kieran MacDonald. It's a breakaway by Mayo. Chance of a goal, and the keeper saves. Mayo still have it. Stephen Carroll with him. Fergal Murray. Outside James Gill. Coming through on the turn, and it's well wide. David McDonough. He started centre-half forward against Sligo and was replaced at half-time by Maurice Sheridan. And that is, in fact, Mayo's very first kick on goal. Very good save by Westmeath, the goalkeeper, Cathal Mullen. This is like Joe Fallon that I mentioned a moment ago. This is his first year becoming a regular goalkeeper at senior level. Westmeath search forward again. David Murphy spreading it over towards this side. Martin Flanagan, Joe Fallon. There's a boot there from Gary Ruan, which is not allowed, and the referee correctly gives a free to Westmeath. And once more, it's going to be Joe Fallon to take the free. Luke Dempsey, the Westmeath manager, will be well aware, will have told his team to try and maximise the advantage in this opening half. This time Joe Fallon sends it wide, but considering the strength of the breeze and how blustery it is here, Westmeath will be hoping to take every opportunity that comes their way.
Yes, but they'll be very encouraged by their start. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're winning the breaks around the middle of the field. They have a subtlety up front, particularly with Martin Flanagan and Ger Heaven, that Mayo are finding it hard to counteract at the moment.
Peter Burke tries to change wings, but it doesn't actually work. Westmeath pump it in again. It's well won. Martin Flanagan. 5 Mayo players converge on him. They fail to stop him from raising Westmeath's 4th point of the match. 5th point of the game. 5 of the 6 Westmeath forwards have now scored. It's a brilliant start by the Midlanders. Look at this. Despite virtually all of the Mayo defensive sextet converging on him, they fail to stop him from kicking a good point.
Yes, from a Mayo perspective, the middle of the field is a barren area for them at the moment. They have won nothing in the air, and they're not getting any breaks, so they're in trouble unless they get a grip around there fairly soon.
It's going to be a sideline ball from Mayo. David Brady from Ballina, now fully recovered from that hand injury. As you can see, his left hand is heavily strapped. Pops this in towards Maurice Sheridan. This is James Gill. The effort goes across the face of the goal and just sneaks in over the crossbar for Mayo's first point, thanks to the boot of Maurice Sheridan. Almost 13 minutes played before Mayo registered their first point. Gill and Sheridan combining. Good calling by the full forward and a very good score. Punched down by James Nallen. Good calling by David Murphy, centre half back from Tyrrell's pass. Kennelly took his eye off it, and Heaven is on it quickly, snapping on his heels. The mistake is in fact punished. That's great play by a corner forward. Kennelly had done everything right, first to the ball, just took his eye off it, perhaps misjudged it with the strength of the breeze. A wonderful opportunism by Ger Heaven.
Yes, it's a mark of a corner forward in form at the moment, the way he can snaffle a half chance like that. An unfortunate mistake from Ray Kennelly's point of view, but a very well taken score by Ger Heaven.
And Ger Heaven has got 2 chances and scored both of them.
Yes, and set up another point.
Great catch. David Brady. Gives it over towards Trevor Mortimer. That's a very good kick. We were so impressed with Trevor Mortimer on his last performance here in Roscommon. His work rate, playing a deep defensive role, was superb. Didn't really get a chance to take shots at goal, but Trevor Mortimer is a very capable player.
Yes, and that one off his weaker left foot, actually.
It's a very interesting tussle so far. Westmeath again react very quickly to the breaking ball. David Murphy feeding David O'Shaughnessy. This is Brian Morley from Mullingar Shamrocks. Ray Kennelly forcing the error from the corner forward. Trevor Mortimer, there was a high boot there, but full marks to David Mitchell, just hopped up off the ground and continued on about chasing the ball. No theatrics here in Roscommon this afternoon. Terheven pulling on it, and a snapshot at Peter Burke, well saved by Peter Burke from Joe Fallon. Colin McMiniman. Mayo beginning to settle now. Hefty challenge in the Mayo man, but he managed to squeeze it for his David McDonough. Noel Kennelly, Kieran McDonald, look how far back, fairly hefty shoulder, and it's good football from Westmeath, not allowing Mayo to settle on the ball. The break suits Stephen Carolan. The support is in the shape of James Gale, getting inside, has to be satisfied with the point as Carl Mullen came off his line. Member of the under-21 side that will later in the season play in the All-Ireland final, has shown tremendous potential through the championship, but not really fulfilled it in terms of scoring prowess, but he got a very good point here.
Yes, he's gone off the ball somewhat in the early part of the summer, but that should certainly give his confidence a bit of a boost. But just looking at the Westmeath defence, the few times Mayo have attacked them, they've got through very easily, and that's two possible goaling chances they had where they took points instead.
McMiniman flicking it out to Noel Kennelly. Good intelligent ball so that Maurice Sheridan can run out to. Trevor Mortimer working hard again to MacDonald. Maurice Sheridan has gone inside and he's still unmarked, but it's James Gale going for his second point. Mortimer he uses instead, and that is over the bar. Very good play by Mayo. Second point by the number 12. Scored 4 points against Roscommon, and scored 1 point against Roscommon, and today he's increased that by just scoring his second.
Yes, I think the catalyst for the improvement is the half-backs are starting to get to grips with the game, and in particular Noel Kennelly here on the left has initiated both of those attacks.
The player that's requiring medical attention is Rory O'Connell. And in fact, it's David Shaughnessy, and David is, of course, just back from injury. There was a severe doubt that he wouldn't be able to play when he injured his ankle playing against Louth, and David seems to have picked up a facial injury there, and referee Niall Barrett is allowing for the doctor to ensure that he is okay and able to continue on at midfield. Must be said, Mayo have settled now in the last 5 minutes and beginning to show a lot more potential up front.
Yeah, and the guy who's actually sparking quite a bit of the forward movement is Trevor Mortimer, who's taking up where he left off against Roscommon in the Connacht final.
Great catch by Colin McMiniman. David Brady is available for him immediately. Touched the ball along the ground after being dispossessed by Paul Conway, and that's going to be a free for Westmeath. Nobody really running for David O'Shaughnessy. He just has to pump it in long and high. Well gathered by Ray Kennelly. And quickly taken, but it's a poor pass. And Rory O'Connell intercepts. He has options. Brian Morley is there. Can't touch it again. And the free is to Mayo. And to James Nallen. Kieran MacDonald running onto it. Plenty of support play. McDonald drops this in towards Cathal Mullen. And Westmeath will change the direction of the play by coming down this right wing. Well gathered by Gary Ruan. Good covering by Colin McMenamin. Hit a hefty shoulder again by Martin Flanagan. Westmeath are hitting, but hitting extremely fairly. The ball at the far side runs in favour of Mayo, as the linesman Michael McGrath from Donegal indicates. Here looks for Stephen Carolan. Coming in along the end line, it's a great run by Carolan. Takes too many steps, the ball hits off the crossbar, but the referee had blown his whistle, and the referee absolutely correct. .20.5 minutes gone now in this first half, and the goalkeeper Cathal Mullen will place it for another free and another kick out. Mullen, like so many others in this team, won under-21 Leinster and All-Ireland medals in 1999. Made his debut against London in November in the National League. Here's David Brady now, pumping it back towards the goalkeeper, Horace Sheridan. David Mitchell has it securely grasped, but gives it out towards Michael Ennis in Ballynagore. Good defending by Ray Kennelly. Gets there first. Uses James Gale. Kieran MacDonald wanted it. Instead he gives it long in towards Stephen Carolan. Nice turn. Good score. Belmullet Star gets his first point in this All-Ireland qualifier. And Mayo, despite being outplayed for the first 15 minutes, territorially around centre field, have now established a rhythm and find themselves just 1 point adrift.
Yes, Brady is starting to get the odd high one. Colin McMenamin is working harder, and the forwards in particular, Stephen Carolan and Trevor Mortimer, are playing very well. And I noticed that there has been a switch in the Westmeath full back line.
Again, Rory O'Connell lays it off quickly to Paul Conway. Martin Flanagan beats Kevin Cahill. The overlap is from Fergal Wilson, and this just goes to the right and wide. That's Westmeath's third wide of the match. But they'll be hoping for a little bit more. Remember, they are playing with wind advantage, and I can assure you it's quite blustery here in Roscommon.
Yeah, certainly they want to have a 4 or 5 point lead going in at half-time on the basis of the strength of the wind out there.
Pushing by David O'Shaughnessy. It's going to be a free to Mayo. Really, the Westmeath players don't have to foul because they've been dominating that crucial area. Gives the initiative to Mayo and to David Brady. MacDonald makes a diagonal run out towards this side. With him is David Mitchell. Still MacDonald. Good defending by Mitchell, but he tried to slide along the ground, and he fouled Kieran MacDonald in the process. So that's going to be a free for Mayo. And really, Westmeath cannot give away silly frees like this, because Mayo have the advantage of having Maurice Sheridan, who is normally quite consistent. He is facing the breeze, and this is a difficult enough angle.
Watch it, John. Watch it on your toes.
Scored one from play. This one goes to the right and wide. Second wide of the game for Mayo. But it was a difficult enough kick. Not so much the angle, but the breeze is very confusing.
Well, the breeze is very strong, it's blustery, and it was more or less blowing across him there, but at the same time he would have expected to score that himself. And again, after his couple of misses in the Connacht final, it won't do his confidence a lot of good to have missed that. But he's playing quite well in general play and actually setting up a lot of ball for the other forwards.
25 minutes played in the first half in Roscommon. Brian Morley from the county champions club, Mullingar Shamrocks. Gary Ruan is put out over the line, but the linesman and the referee concur that it is a foul on the cornerback, so it's going to be a free for Mayo. Noel Kennelly. Westmeath win it back easily. Coming forward from left corner back is Fergal Murray. Kevin Carroll has the situation under control here. Uses McMenamin. It's a bit optimistic to say the least from McMenamin, as Trevor Mortimer ends up in the dugout. Much to Pat Holmes' discuss. It's going to be a sideline ball for Damien Healy. Misjudged by Kevin Carroll, but Gary Ruan is there. So too David McDonough and David Brady, but it's Brady that's fouled and given it long in towards Maurice Sheridan. That's a great catch by John Kane. Uses Rory O'Connell. Ray Cadelli gets his second chance of gathering possession. Uses James Nalla to James Gill. Coming in to challenge is Rory O'Connell. Good running by Gill. Back outside towards Maurice Sheridan. They combined a short time ago for a point. Stephen Carolan gets into the act. Great defending by Westmeath, pushing them out towards the sideline. And now they win back possession. David O'Shaughnessy, very good play by Westmeath. And they build from the back. Here's Paul Conway from an intermediate club called Tang. Good covering by Gary Ruan. Ger Heaven almost dispossessing him. David Brady. Both Mayo defenders having to go back. Here's the second one. McMenamin, Cullum, down towards Trevor Mortimer. He lashes out at Rory O'Connell. He gets the free quickly taken, but very good play. This time by David Mitchell. He gives it in long towards the danger man, Ger Heaven. Ray Kennelly is chasing after him. Coming through on the overlap is Michael Ennis, and he drives it well wide. But Westmeath looks so dangerous on the counter-attack. They were able to soak all the Mayo pressure. Good defending, and then bang, it's up into the other half of the field.
Yes, and even though that was a wide, there was a neat contrast actually in the last couple of minutes in the different styles of play. Mayo's last couple of attacks have been very laboured, crisscrossing laterally over and back with short passes. That one by Westmeath was very economical, very incisive. The finish unfortunately let them down. As we see here, great support play coming through, but drove it badly wide.
Michael Ennis, judging by his expression, knows it, but it's Westmeath again. Here's Fergal Wilson. Showed a little bit too much this time, and it's David Brady that feeds James Gill. Looks up, but there's nobody making an immediate run out to meet him. The challenge was a little bit high for the Cork official, so it's going to be a free for Mayo. James Gill again wanted it quickly. David Brady has decided to take the slow option. Just over 28 minutes played now in this first half. John Kane fouled by Stephen Carolan, so that's going to be a free for Westmeath. David Mitchell takes the free. Nallen knocks it down to Colin McMenamin. The support play is provided by Noel Kennelly. Rory O'Connell comes in to challenge. Good running by David McDonough. Anxious to make an impression. Thought about the pass, but the option was not really there. And Westmeath soak up the pressure and counter-attack again. Not a great ball for Joe Fallon. Comes back to David McDonough. Needs to use James Nalla. And again, the passes goes astray, and Damien Healy intercepts. Challenge by Kieran MacDonald. Healy didn't like that particular challenge, and it's going to be a free for Westmeath.
Yes, Kieran MacDonald actually showing a bit of frustration there, finding it very difficult to get onto the ball at the moment. That pass was probably a little bit out of his reach, but he's probably one Mayo forward that is really not getting as much possession as they should be trying to give to him, because he has the wherewithal actually to score and to set up others. In that case there, certainly I think he gave away the free more out of frustration than anything else.
David McDonough just back on his feet after picking up an injury in that sequence. David Mitchell, full back, former goalkeeper, made his debut in '95 against Wexford. Jarhiva, 3 Mayo players. This is a very good play, Michael Ennis, and he finds the net. The threat has been there since about 6:15 this evening, and Westmeath are very much now on a roll with just 5 minutes to the half-time whistle. Simple interplay, fast ball technique, and it works splendidly here. Mayo losing possession. Jarhiva sucked in 4 Mayo players to converge on him. He hopped it as far as Michael Ennis, and the finish was excellent and easily beat Peter Burke.
Yes, a lovely bit of perceptive play by Jarhiva in that case. Great pass for him.
Gary Ruan under pressure here now from Joe Fallon, and that's going to be a sideline ball for Mayo. Well, we have been saying, Martin, that Westmeath, considering the weather conditions and the wind advantage, they needed to have that lead.
They needed that. It was 15 minutes, 16 minutes actually since they had scored last, but it must be said that Alan Roach and maybe Ray Kennelly got into a little bit of a tangle with the high ball there and maybe contributed in some way to that score.
This is Alan Roach. Fouls the possession with too many hops, and that's going to be a free for Westmeath. About 3.5 minutes left now in actual playing time. There's Jarhiva. He played his first match for Westmeath at senior level way back in 1993 against Dublin. Hits this powerfully, but inaccurately. And the captain telling his colleagues to keep the pressure on. That's Westmeath's 5th wide, which all things considered isn't a bad statistic from their viewpoint.
No, but they'd like to finish off the half now with a few more scores to go in with somewhat more comfortable lead at half-time.
3 minutes in extra time going to be added on. The 4th official has just indicated to the crowd here in Hyde Park. And I'm sure Mayo will be just happy to keep the scoreline the way it is and not concede any more scores just before half-time. Crossfield ball is not a very good one, and Fergal Wilson is battling for it. It's James Nallen that does the sweeping up. Rory O'Connell comes in to challenge. Forces James Nallen to go back. Uses David Brady, but the pass outside to David McDonough was a foul throw, according to Niall Barish, the referee.
Yes, and it must be very frustrating by the inside forwards that those balls aren't being given into the full forward line, which to date has been doing quite well for Mayo.
The long ball comes down, there's a chance here, Flanagan, oh dear! Oh dear, that was so close to Westmeath's second goal. And what a psychological boost that would be as we approach about a minute and a half to the half-time whistle.
Oh, certainly they'll rue that when the ball comes in here very high. Mayo defence is caught ball watching. Too many of them go for the one ball. Martin Flanagan is left in his own. Bang, drives it badly wide. Should have hit the target at least.
Fine catch by David Brady. Has to go back to seek out David McDonough. Kieran MacDonald, remember he's centre half forward and he's inside his own half of the field trying to set up of Mayo attack. Here's a chance for Trevor Mortimer, but he drives it well wide. Much to the delight of the Westmeath supporters. James Gill was hit a little bit late as he was delivering that ball, and Damien Healy is now being spoken to by the referee, and there's every possibility that he could well see a yellow card here, and he does. That's the first yellow card of the game, as we're about 20 seconds left in actual playing time. But remember, we have 3 minutes of injury time, and if anything happens during those 3 minutes to delay the match, well then we'll have a little bit more. Oh, fabulous fielding by Rory O'Connell. David O'Shaughnessy. Good catch this time by Ray Kennelly. James Nalla. Over towards David Brady. Support plays from Trevor Mortimer. Looking around now. See if anybody is in a better position. Uses Morris Sheridan on the overlap. Works hard to send this to the right and wide, and that would be a disappointment for Alan Roach. That's Mayo's 4th wide of the game.
Yes, just in that little incident there, actually, there was great work done, but nobody coming up in support other than the wing back. There ought to have been somebody else coming in to give the support to the player with the ball in that case.
Sent inside towards Stephen Carolan. Back outside towards Kieran MacDonald. David Mitchell staying with them. MacDonald shakes off the challenge not once but twice. Good interplay by Mayo, and the finish is inadequate. Very good approach work. Everything seemed to be right. Good position in terms of scoring, but the ball driven wide.
Yeah, lovely piece of interplay that time by James Nallen and Kieran MacDonald. Stephen Carlin should have done better, but again, they'll probably be encouraged by the fact that they're managing to get those shots off, as in that case. Okay, it drifted badly wide, and maybe with the wind behind them in the second half, their accuracy will improve.
Interestingly, Martin, in their last 4 kicks on goal, each effort has gone to the wrong side of the posts.
Yes, that is correct. Over on the right-hand side, maybe it's to do with the fact that the wind is going diagonally in that direction.
Colin McMenamin. Great catch as Mayo tried to get a score before half-time. Good defending again by Westmeath. Kieran MacDonald comes in to assist Stephen Carolan, but that is a fabulous point by Kieran MacDonald. And I don't really think even the crowd here in Hyde Park appreciated how difficult that was. That was way out by the touchline against the breeze, and I'm sure that when we see the replay that you'll appreciate it fully. And as you can see, the referee has blown the half-time whistle here in Hyde Park. I'm sure we'll see that point again later. A fabulous point by half-time as Westmeath go in, having played with wind advantage, with a 3-point gain. That is 1 goal and 6 points to 6 points. That's the halftime score here in Hyde Park. We'll be back very shortly with analysis from Tom. Here, the crowd have been enjoying a great evening's football. No complaints from either Mayo or Westmeath supporters, and I'm sure that the audience at home watching this game on TV are enjoying what is going on here in Hyde Park. David McDonough is at centre half forward. Kieran MacDonald has gone in full forward, and they're the only 2 major changes on the Mayo side. Westmeath seem to be the same as the first half. Niall Barrett is about to start this second half, and it really is a question of survival. Who will go into the quarter-final draw for the All-Ireland series? Somebody here this afternoon or this evening will have no further interest in this season's championship. Ball inside towards Stephen Carolan. Good play by Fergal Murray. Brian Morley providing the overlap, but a little bit too fancy. Fergal Murray is there to provide support again. This is Damien Healy. Played centre half back against Meath in the championship and came on against Louth. Ball punched back. It goes to David Murphy, centre back this evening, who didn't play against Meath. Played corner back in the Division 2 final. And I'll tell you all of that because of the importance of depth of talent and a panel of players, and indeed to be able to be versatile as well and play in different positions. Damien Healy. It's a poor pass upside towards Martin Flanagan, and that's going to be a sideline ball from Mayo, far side. Mayo, in case you've just joined us, are playing with a strong wind to their backs in this second half. And it certainly looks as well here in Roscommon that rain isn't that far away. Referee wants that ball to be taken again, as one of the players was getting some attention. So now we're back with the action. Up towards Maurice Sheridan. Westmeath in control. It gives the ball away to David Brady. Seeks out Kieran MacDonald. Coming through is David Mitchell. Mitchell is fouled, but maybe not as much as the acrobatic dive would indicate, but MacDonald did foul, and MacDonald's name was noted earlier, not shown a yellow card. The fact that he was ticked off in the first half might mean a yellow card here for Kieran MacDonald, and it is a yellow card for Kieran MacDonald. As we look at the replay here, there was a challenge on Mitchell, but Mitchell made the most of it here. And that sort of theatrics, I'm sure that most GA lovers would rather not see. David Brady. James Nally coming from centre half back. Great running by Trevor Mortimer. This is Mortimer. Damien Healy behind him, beside him, to prevent a score, and he did enough, Trevor Mortimer, to get his third point of the match. He's a hard worker, a grafter, and certainly Pat Holmes, I think, tactically has it right in terms of Trevor Mortimer's role, playing in a far more attacking role here this evening.
Yes, he's putting great effort into his game. A good pass from Allen that time. He was strong enough to withstand the challenge from young Healy, and again slipped the ball over the bar. Good return from his attacking. 3 points to date.
Some people would say that Mayo's experience might be the telling factor here. Remember, what you're witnessing is the two teams that won divisions in the National Football League, Mayo and Westmeath. And Westmeath have a lot of underage experience and success behind them. Kieran MacDonald, who is clearly a target man for every ball that David Brady wins, and MacDonald sends that to the right and wide. But it's a strategy that could as well, and brings in other players around him.
Yes, we can notice from the first couple of balls that David Brady has got that he's actually trying to bring Kieran MacDonald into the game, who is now drifted into the right corner of the attack.
Fine kick out by Cathal Mullen. Brilliantly caught by David O'Shaughnessy. That wind is a factor because Mayo are dominating these opening minutes of the second half. This is a great run by James Nalla. Still Nalla. Referee gives him the free. What a splendid defence-splitting run by the centre half back from Crossmolina. His leadership on a day like today is crucial.
Yes, it's significant actually that the two best attacks of the second half have come through James Allen attacking through the centre of the Westmeath defence.
And the yellow card there for Westmeath midfielder Rory O'Connell. As Mayo are going to introduce David Nestor for Stephen Carolan. Meanwhile, there's confirmation that David Nestor is warming along the sideline as Maurice Sheridan sends it over the bar for his second point. the substitution can now take place. As you can see on your screen, just 1 point between the teams. And Pat Holmes instructing David Nestor as we watch the replay of Maurice Sheridan's free going over the bar. So Stephen Carolan from Belmullet making way for Ballyhonus's David Nestor. And Nestor, of course, scored the goal against Roscommon here on this very pitch, indeed into the very goals he's now going to be playing into, and he'll be hoping for a repeat performance. Great catch by David O'Shaughnessy. Michael Ennis, the goal scorer, has to release the ball. David McDonough goes in on a sliding tackle on Fergal Wilson, and that has to be a free for Westmeath. McDonough is claiming that the ball was loose and free, but I think he knew and must have seen the right half forward from Tubber Clare coming in. And the referee is absolutely correct to take the wing forward's name. This is the incident again. And the referee, I think, could well be showing a yellow card. He is. So that's David McDonough getting a yellow card, giving us now 4 players to see yellow here so far in Hyde Park. And the 4 are evenly distributed amongst Westmeath and Mayo players. Luke Dempsey, the Westmeath manager, just gone in there to check that his player is able to continue. Confirmation that David Nestor has come in for Stephen Carolan at left corner forward. As the Westmeath player still is getting some attention, that of course is Fergal Wilson, and he is vital to Westmeath's prospects. Plays intermediate club football with Tubber Clare, which is just outside Athlone. Here's the incident again as the ball went loose. Coming in from the right now is the Westmeath man, and McDonough went in on Fergal Wilson, and judging by that particular camera angle, was correctly booked.
Oh yeah, it's a definite case of dangerous play in that case, and Fergal Wilson, I think, caught that full blow on the ankle. But just a couple of points that are interesting. Just before this kick is taken, there's a huge gap in front of the Mayo full back line. The ball is obviously going to be launched in long, and the person again that's trying to get in there on the ball is Ger Heaven.
Down at the town end, actually, there's a lot of pushing and shoving between Mayo backs and Westmeath forwards, and the umpires are well aware of it, as we can see Fergal Wilson, who seems to have picked up an arm injury, and Fergal Wilson is in fact being replaced by John Brennan. And obviously when he was going down on the ball, and the impact of the collision with McDonough obviously meant that his arm has been badly injured. So coming into the side is John Brennan, and John Brennan from Kilbeggan Shamrocks is normally a midfielder. As this free is taken and the ball is dropped in, the ball is taken off the ground, and that is going to be a free. David Brady is furious and won't give the ball to Joe Fallon, and he is telling, I think, you, if you're a good lip reader, that Niall Barrett has a bad call, but we'll have to see that again as Ger Heaven takes the free dead straight in front of the posts, and this will give Westmeath a little bit of breathing space. Ger Heaven's 3rd point.
Yes, and actually I think it's only their 2nd score in about 34 minutes, which is a long time to go without a score, and they'll be certainly glad of that, because they have gone out of it a little bit in the forward line, and the ball isn't coming in there as regularly as they would like.
Kick out by Peter Burke, and it's a lengthy one again. Bar Sheridan. Trevor Mortimer. Here's David Brady going forward to Kieran MacDonald. He usually finishes, and the goalkeeper saves brilliantly. Mullen deprives Kieran MacDonald of a certain goal. Great running by Brady. James Nallen was providing the leadership earlier with these great runs. Brady did it this time. MacDonald deprived by great goalkeeping. And the 45 going to be taken by Maurice Sheridan as we look at this again. And good running by David Brady again from centre field.
Yes, most of Mayo's chances are being created by either their half-backs or their midfield running through the middle and drawing in a defender, netting the ball off to the inside guys. That should have been put away. But again, you must credit Cathal Mullen with the quality of the save. He smothered Kieran MacDonald's effort very well.
Well, the goalkeeper certainly made some great saves against Wexford. Himself and Aidan Lennon have been battling for the goalkeeping spot. Maurice Sheridan doesn't quite get behind it, but the ball is dropped and taken up by Trevor Mortimer, who turns and sends it wide. And Trevor Mortimer will be disappointed with that because he knows he possibly should have scored and punished the error.
Yeah, he should have punished the error, but in fairness to him, he's playing with great application, working very hard. He scored 3 points already, and if others took the cue from him, I'd say it would certainly favour Mayo.
Mayo are warming up Pat Fallon, who of course played in the Connacht final. There's confirmation of the earlier substitution of John Brennan for Fergal Wilson. Rory O'Connell. Challenge by Noel Kennelly was strong. Trevor Mortimer. Westmeath backpedaling as Mortimer shoots again and shoots wide for the second time. Now, Pat Fallon normally plays at centre field, and obviously there's going to be a change which will require an alteration in terms of the lineup of the team. David McDonough seems to be the player that's going to be making way. He's been playing at centre half forward, so Pat Fallon just might slot into that particular berth, or indeed he may, Pat Holmes may decide to use Fallon as a midfielder and McMiniman or Brady as a centre forward. Let's see. It looks like Colin McMiniman has been told to play at centre half forward, so we now have Pat Fallon and David Brady operating in the middle of the pitch. Breaking ball so vital. This time it's picked up by Rory O'Connell. Linesman's flag is up. It's going to be a sideline kick from Mayo, far side.
Like, there's 13 minutes gone in the second half. The ball has been in the Westmeath half of the field for most of that 13 minutes, but yet Mayo have only scored twice in that time and have kicked a number of bad wides, and this could affect their confidence as the game goes on.
Noel Kennelly seeks and finds Maurice Sheridan. The referee has blown his whistle, and no clear signal. I think he's going to give a throw ball, in fact.
It's a very strange decision, actually. If Sheridan won that ball clearly, he should have got the free, I think.
Absolutely. This is David Shaughnessy. Paul Conway can't win the ball cleanly, but somehow manages to pick it up, and that rolling around. It takes too many steps. I'm not too sure what he could have done with it in that particular instance, but it's a free to Mayo. So perhaps that makes up for Maurice Sheridan's decision a moment ago by the referee.
It's a case of the equalizer, I think.
David Nestor brought down by John Kane, and this should be an easy free for Mayo.
Yes, and it must be said, the game has deteriorated somewhat in the last 5 minutes. Got very scrappy, too many stoppages in it, too many misplaced passes, and just a lot of broken play.
Maurice Sheridan going for his third point. Is confirmation of the substitution. It's on your screen. Pat Fallon in and David McDonough off. And Maurice Sheridan raises a white flag for the third time in this match. And Mayo just 1 point behind their opponents. 15 minutes gone now in the second half. A simple tap over for a man who now plays his club football with Salt Hill and Galway. Cathal Mullen wisely switches the wings, and in an effort to try and gain possession at midfield, Pat Fallon feeds Kieran MacDonald. This is Colin McMenamin. Not a good ball for David Nestor, and Fergal Murray punches it out for a 45. Second 45 of the game for Mayo. But Mayo dominating that area, that crucial area around centre field. Half back line and top, half forward line winning ball, and they're using the ball quite intelligently now into their full forward line. Morris Sheridan going to take this. David Nestor seems to have been in a collision off the ball with Fergal Murray. And the referee just ticking his name in the book. David Nestor, back to Morris Sheridan. Floats this one in, it's looking good. And it's gone to the right and wide. It looked good from here, and I think Morris thought for a moment at least that was going over the bar. That's Mayo's 9th wide of the game.
Yes, the wides are starting to mount up. The concept there was good. Nestor played a nice one too at Morris Sheridan, and he might have done better, although it must be said that the pressure put on for Fergal Murray was admirable.
17 minutes now played in this second half. Easy ball for David O'Shaughnessy. Good block down. Westmeath have it. And they have to maximise it because possession has been at the minimum for them. There's a double hop and very quick counter attack here by Mayo. Colin McMenamin, Kieran MacDonald, McMenamin, Pat Fallon. They're all options. MacDonald goes it on a solo flight and he sends it over the bar. Second point by Kieran MacDonald. I'm sure he'd have come in for some criticism if he had failed to score, because there were at least 3-4 options available to him, but he had the confidence to keep going himself. The sides level for the first time in this game at 1-7 to 10 points, thanks to this hard work and indeed finish by Kieran MacDonald. Again, Cathal Mullen switches wings over towards this side. John Brennan goes up. He has to release the ball, and Mayo have it. Colin McMenamin. That's a good ball to Kieran MacDonald. That tactic is working very well. And Damien Healy can't hold it. There's a chance here, and that is over the bar. Very good play by Trevor Mortimer. Good vision by MacDonald. And Mayo are in front.
Yes, but you must credit the tackling that was done by the Mayo players out around the bit of the park in the first place there to win back possession of the ball. And again, great vision from Kieran MacDonald. Put the ball into space. Okay, it came off young Healy, but on to Trevor Mortimer, who kicks his fourth point, having a very fine game.
And his fourth point after 18.5 minutes gives Mayo the lead for the very first time in this game. Damien Healy unlucky not to be able to hold on to the ball, but Mortimer under pressure did very well. Mayo have the upper hand at the moment and creating a lot of space in front of the Westmeath goalposts. Comes back to Colin McMenamin. Not known for his scoring ability, and that particular record is maintained. But certainly the tactic, the strategy seems to be working from a Mayo viewpoint. They're opening up that Westmeath full back line. They're pushing them into the corners.
Yes, and they're getting the breaks around the middle of the park, more importantly, even though David O'Shaughnessy is fighting a lone battle out there for Westmeath at the moment, fielding some great ball and having a very good tussle with David Brady.
David Brady punches it clear. David Mitchell comes across, and then the pressure wins possession. Noel Kennelly and Morris Sheridan. Fair shoulder from Kieran MacDonald. Damien Healy has gone over to the far over wing. Joe Fallon has to try and win possession. It's scrappy. Westmeath have it once more. Joe Fallon trying to set up Jarheven. Ray Kennelly intercepted. Back to Gary Ruan. Pat Fallon is over there as well. Westmeath have to try and maintain pressure at this end of the field and try and regain parity. The linesman's flag would suggest that it is going to be a Westmeath ball. And that's exactly what it's going to be. Jarheven going to take it. This game seems to have deteriorated in this second half, but it's still very, very interesting and played with great passion. Westmeath now seeking an equalizer. Can the captain do it? Heaven hits it across the face of the goal, and Paul Conway or Mark Flanagan can't reach it. Experience now is vital, Martin.
Yes, experience is vital, and I think we tempted fate in the Connacht final by saying the experience of the Mayo players had won the match. But certainly this evening, their experienced players are playing quite well. But if they get enough ball to Jarheven, I think they still could get a match-winning score. But it must be said, Ray Kennelly is having an outstanding game on Heaven throughout the game. And again, Westmeath will be disappointed. Just one score in 22 minutes of the second half. That's a very poor return.
Luke Dempsey, the Westmeath manager in his first year, having guided them to minor success, of course, in the 90s. Many of these players emerging now from the underage ranks. Here's Rory O'Connell, who's one of the more experienced players at 27. That's a good ball now. Laying it out in front of Martin Flanagan. Mayo defensively strong, not fouling. There's a chance here. Slipping inside is Jarheven. Gets inside the cover. He's brought down. The referee doesn't indicate that that was a foul, and the pressure is relieved, if only slightly, by Trevor Mortimer. But certainly Ray Kennelly came in on top of Jarheven there, and no doubt about it, very good play defensively. Let's just see this again. As Jarheven was going through, just for a moment it looked like Westmeath could actually breach this Mayo defence.
Yes, Ray Kennelly more or less threw his body in front of Jarheven that time. And okay, you could argue maybe it should have been a free in, maybe for a foot block. But I think Jarheven had lost possession of the ball in that case.
Well, the two players, Ray Kennelly and Jarheven, who are having a great tussle, a very sporting tussle here this evening. Both injured in that incident. And this is how it developed as Jarheven came in, had to try and get it onto his right foot. Here's Ray Kennelly diving, as you can see there, on his foot, and very good play defensively.
Yes, he just threw himself at the ball, and actually I think Jarheven actually kicked him because Kennelly had got his body between the ball and Jarheven. It's very good defending.
And the tendency there by most cornerbacks would be to a rush of blood and to foul. And very sporting behaviour there by Jarheven and Ray Kennelly, who could actually afford a smile in this crucial championship game.
Yes, it's very encouraging to see that, because we see too much of the other type of dourness and spitefulness. But to see that level of sportsmanship is very reassuring and good to see in a competitive match. Damien Gavin is coming in at right half back. He started there against Cork in the Division 2 final, and he's replacing Brian Morley. Maurice Sheridan now. Alan Roach unmarked and available at right half back. Giving it long. MacDonald gets at the end of it, but it had crossed the end line and wide. They will be disappointed with a lot of those balls going in. They're somewhat aimless and there's no great purpose to them, and they should be building on a lead when they're getting attacks like that. Like, they're still only hanging on to a 1-point lead in a game where if Westmeath get a couple of minutes superiority, which is often the case, they could get a match-winning score at the other side.
And again, Westmeath, thanks to the hard work of Rory O'Connell, win possession. The referee had blown his whistle for a foul after the ball had been delivered. Martin Flanagan gives it in, but the signals got crossed between himself and Jarheven. And Ray Kennelly is back there. His assistant is his fullback, Kevin Cowell. Not a good clearance by the fullback. Still in play. And that's going to be a sideline ball for Westmeath. Michael McGrath, the linesman right here in front of us, quite assertive in his decision, adamant that that was correct. As there is another substitution. Joe Fallon is going to be making way, and it looked like Desi Dolan is being launched into corner forward. And the reason that Desi was unable to start was because of a very bad chipped bone in his ankle, which will require surgery. And Joe Fallon has been replaced, but really there hasn't been a plentiful supply of ball to the full forward line, as they seem to have problems further out. It's a high challenge, and the referee gives the free to Mayo. Injury there on Trevor Mortimer, and certainly his performance has been most impressive, and I'm sure his manager Pat Holmes would not be at all happy if Mortimer had to leave the field as this incident happened. We've now had 26, almost 27 minutes played in this second half. There will be injury time, but despite Mayo's superiority, there comes the challenge from behind, and that is a bookable offence, and Mayo take the free now. Kieran MacDonald laying it off. It's not a very good ball for David Brady, who made the most of it, whereas Pat Fallon. Ball is kicked free. Good running by Rory O'Connell. Remember, Westmeath are seeking an equaliser. They use Jarheven, given out towards Damien Healy. Gets inside the cover. He's still there, and it's Ray Kennelly again, who defends brilliantly for Mayo. Back to Jarheven. They need to equalise. Crossfield ball is not a good option, and it's an easy one for James Gill. And Mayo counter-attack with Pat Fallon. Fair shoulder by David Mitchell, I would have thought, but the referee has given Pat Fallon a free, and Mitchell puts up his arms that he hit him fairly. It looked at first showing, to me at least, that it was a fair shoulder, but Pat Fallon certainly went down. Here it is again, and maybe it was a little bit high.
No, I think he hit his feet off the ground when he hit him there, so it is a free for
yes,
Mayo.
Absolutely.
Yes. But
you know, the point you were making, Martin, is so valid. Despite Mayo's dominance in although Westmeath are enjoying a period at the moment, they're only still 1 point in front.
Yes, they should be building on their lead, but neither team seems to want to win it in one way. You know, the game has dropped in standard. There's a lot of overplaying. It has become quite scrappy, and the next score or two will decide it, actually, one way or the other.
There's a confirmation of the scoreline at the moment. Mayo leading by just 1 point. 28.5 minutes played now in this second half, but there will be extra time, injury time added on. David Brady took his time about delivering a ball in towards Kieran MacDonald or Maurice Sheridan, but it's John Kane that intercepts. David O'Shaughnessy, as Westmeath will try and launch another attack, but Desi Dolan hasn't a hope of reaching that because it's gone out over the sideline. Line ball again for Mayo. Noel Kennelly. David Murphy comes across here. Doesn't gather. Kieran MacDonald knocks it forward. Chance here for Colin McMenamin. Can he put this over the bar? Yes, he can. One thing for sure, Colin McMenamin is a very hard grafter. Works very hard. Not known, as we mentioned earlier, for his scoring ability, but he steadied himself here well, as you can see from the picture, and hit a very good point. It's a 2-point advantage for Mayo for the very first time in this game. James Nallen sprays it over to the far side, but not really a great ball for anybody. The initiative and possession swings to Westmeath. 5 minutes left now in this match. Westmeath need 2 points. Here's Fergal Murray. Giving it in towards Desi Dolan. Gary Ruan marking him. Support is coming from outside. Westmeath need to score here. Very good play. It's Damien Gavin back to Martin Flanagan, looping it to the right and looping it wide. It is probably their best move of the game as Mayo decide to take off James Gill, and they're going to introduce Michael Moyles, another one of the players we've seen quite a lot this summer, not alone with Crossmolina on Easter Monday, but indeed in the Connacht Championships. There's James Gill departing the scene as Michael Moyles comes in. Michael Ennis stays with him. Statistically, Mayo certainly have had their chances. In the second half alone, they've had 12. Westmeath, just 3. Colin McMiniman. David Nestor. John Kane fouled. 4 minutes left in Hyde Park. Is the Westmeath Championship saga about to end here in Hyde Park? There's a chance here of a point. Desi Dolan sends it wide. And that's Westmeath's 9th wide of the game. And a little bit of panic there. He could have just held possession and maybe worked that ball to a better position.
Yes, he's had a couple of opportunities since he's come in. Looks quite dangerous, but the fact that he's been out of training for the last couple of weeks because of the chipped ankle bone is probably blown to the sharpness somewhat.
Mayo will recall the last time they were here in Hyde Park, it looked like they had the Connacht title wrapped up and Roscommon struck. So they were, I'm sure, very wary of 2-point advantages. And they're under pressure here because the referee has blown his whistle and given a free to Westmeath. Just over 2 minutes left in actual playing time now here. Ball dropped in. Westmeath have it. And that is gone over the bar through the boot of Paul Conway, his second of the evening. Didn't score in the last game against Louth, but certainly his contribution here and his work rate has been very impressive. Very good score. 1 point between the teams. Of extra time, which is quite a lot.
No, but it's perfectly justified, I think.
Absolutely.
Because there have been a few injuries in this half, and it's perfectly justified.
David O'Shaughnessy pumps it in again. And Westmeath have possession. And gone inside is Paul Conway. Everybody is shouting for Flanagan to drop it in, but Flanagan couldn't. And Westmeath have a chance to level this tie. But there was a great opportunity there if he could have spotted Paul Conway, but Martin Flanagan was well marked by Mayo, and now there's a chance here for Gerheven to level the tie.
You're perfectly right, Marty. That time Paul Conway was completely unmarked had the ball been given to him. This is a big pressure kick for Gerheven.
The captain puts it over the bar. Level for the second time in Hyde Park. Heaven's 4th point. He's telling his colleagues 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in the championship. 5 minutes to win or lose. This is a do-or-die contest. There's no back door, no side door. This is it. This is the moment that these amateur players train all through the winter and spring. It's a test of character. Are Mayo about to face defeat on this particular ground for the second time in 3 weeks? Or can Westmeath win it? Kieran MacDonald knocked away by David Mitchell, who's following him around centre field. And there's a punch off the ball by the centre half forward as Alan Roach gives it to James Nallen. Nallen tries to get it back to Maurice Sheridan. Very good play by Westmeath and David Murphy in particular. And it's a free out to the Midlanders. This game could well be facing extra time. We're now into injury time. Less than 5 minutes left. And the score: Mayo 12 points, Westmeath 1-9. And certainly, if you're going by supporters and fans, Westmeath certainly seem to have the advantage as they voice their support for their county colleagues. Damien Healy concedes a sideline ball to Mayo.
Yes, and Westmeath seem to have a little bit more pep in their step at the moment. They're much livelier looking, and certainly on the basis of the body language out there, they would be, I suppose, the happier to have extra time.
Well, Mayo went through a period of great dominance, but it wasn't reflected on the scoreboard. Will they be made pay the penalty? Here's David Nestor. Fergal Murray with him. McDonald, difficult angle, but he's one man who can score, but he's disgusted with himself. We don't have to even to wait for the ball to arrive. We know it's well wide. 12th wide of the game for Mayo. It's a very tense arena here in Hyde Park. A virtually packed ground, cheering, shouting, Westmeath and Mayo. Three minutes left in injury time. That's the score. Mayo 12, Westmeath 1-9. Wonderful catch by Rory O'Connell. Giving it outside towards John Brennan. Westmeath, they need to hold possession. Damien Healy survived the challenge but lost possession. Picked up by Alan Roach, picked up off the ground. And the referee maintains that the right half back cleanly picked it off the ground, and there's not too much protestations from any of the Mayo players, so it is going to be a free for Westmeath. David Mitchell to the goal scorer Michael Ennis. Here's John Kane. David O'Shaughnessy. That's a good ball for O'Shaughnessy to O'Connell to Ananto. But what a wonderful interception by Noel Kennelly. Trevor Mortimer loses it. Damien Healy. Players making mistakes as they know that this is the last few minutes of their championship campaign. If they concede a free, or indeed a point more importantly. There's a free conceded here, but it's far enough out the field not to be of great danger to the Mayo goalposts. Just a few centimetres outside the Mayo half of the field. Three and a half minutes of injury time now played. Westmeath, I'm sure, with the pace that they're taking this free, and David Mitchell will almost be happy to see this go to extra time. But can they get a match winner? Ball given away. David Brady pumps it down the middle. McDonald tries to get there. David Murphy gets a hand to it. More importantly, it's in the waiting arms of David Mitchell, the fullback, former goalkeeper, now fullback, who was brought down. And that has to be a free for that challenge by Michael Moyles. But very good play by the fullback from Rochford Bridge.
Yeah, he won a ball in that case in a tussle with Kieran McDonald and drove at the Mayo defence, and again earned the free.
It was Noel Kennelly actually that came in. It was Moyes that was chasing him, as you can see from this replay, and Kennelly came out to meet him, and he got a yellow card for that. And this free by Gerheven could well put Westmeath into the quarter-finals of the All-Ireland Championship. 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes up. Gerheven has opted to take this kick from his hands. Here comes Heven. It's high, but it is dropping to the right and wide. Disappointment for Gerheven and the captain.
In fairness to him, it was a very difficult kick outside. Absolutely. 45 metres against the wind. Last kick of the game, a bit of pressure, and I think the referee has called full time.
And the referee, Niall Barrett, virtually on the stroke of the 5th minute of injury time, has brought a halt to this All-Ireland Qualifier series for the first 75 minutes, but we're now going to have extra time, which is the first time this has happened in the qualifying series, and certainly it's going to be it's the second time actually, isn't it, Mark?
Yes, it's second time actually,
yes.
Because I think they had it against Wexford before.
Well, what an interesting game. We look forward to the extra time very shortly, but just for the moment from here in Roscommon, stay tuned for the extra time. We'll be right back after this break.
Permissible and maybe a little bit more. So obviously Pat Holmes is just saying, right lads, let's steady ourselves down here, now we can do this.
Yeah, good Mayo 5 minutes, Michael, you know, and
a generous 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think Pat Holmes has learned an awful lot this year.
The game, Westmeath looked the fresher team and finished stronger, and if they can sustain that and bring it into extra time, you know, it could be their day.
So Westmeath starting this first period of extra time in the same direction that they played the second half against the breeze. Obviously, this is a tactical approach that if they can survive the next 15 minutes, then they can give it everything, because it is quite a blustery breeze, as we mentioned earlier. This is Michael Ennis, the goal scorer in that wonderful first half here in Roscommon. That gave Westmeath the half-time advantage of 1-6 to 6 points. Half blocked. David Brady up towards Kieran MacDonald. David Mitchell did well, and Fergal Murray nips in, pulled out of his grasp. Kieran MacDonald disagrees with the decision, but the referee is correct.
Yeah, if you pull the ball out of another guy's grasp, it is a free against you.
And for dissent from Kieran MacDonald, there's an extra 10 metres. Meanwhile, Fergal Murray is getting some attention. Has 2 All-Ireland medals at minor in 95 and under 21 in 99. And he made his debut at senior level against Longford 2 years ago.
Yes, and that's interesting what you say there, Marty. He's the only one of the 95 team that has actually graduated onto the starting 15 here tonight.
David Mitchell driving it along. Nicely added to. Kevin Cahill reacted fairly fast and got there. This is over towards John Kane. Or Sheridan, conceding that he won't win that ball. It's a terrible pass from Kane. And David O'Shaughnessy has to work hard to try and work the ball out. The referee gives the free to the maroon and white. Heaven makes a run over this side. Here's Heaven. Fools Racanelli. Nips in, and he squeezed it a little bit too much. Nice little jink, but the space for to actually kick a point was very small, and the opportunity wasted. Judging by the flags marking around the ground, the wind seems to have dropped a bit.
Yes, it has dropped somewhat, and just looking at the shape of the forward lines, the Westmeath full forward line are playing in a very orthodox formation, 3 men up, but there's a lack of shape to the Mayo half forward line in particular. They're playing too far back their own field.
Rory O'Connell, his fielding has been a highlight here this evening. His distribution, however, a little bit of a disappointment there. It's an easy ball again for Kevin Cowell. Given away by Alan Roach. Here's Martin Flanagan. Shoulders the charge easily. Jarheven thought about one option. Uses instead Flanagan. Chance of a point. He kind of snapped at it. And once again, Westmeath send it well wide.
Yeah, a lot of poor football there. First of all, in the Mayo, definitely the Westmeath have driven wide when they had a good chance of a score.
Just to tell you, of course, because of extra time here, confirmation on your screens, tonight's edition of The Simpsons has been deferred.
Oh.
Scoreline 1-9 to 12 points. Almost 3.5 minutes played in this first period of extra time. David Nestor. I figured by his body language he was thinking about it, but I didn't think he would actually shoot from that particular angle.
Yeah, he was being, I suppose, pushed out towards the sideline. Possibly should have given it across the field to Kieran MacDonald, who had taken up a good position on the far side of the attack.
And since he's been introduced, actually, that is his first shot at goal. Nobody leaving Hyde Park. again. It's Rory O'Connell. Another free. It's a terrible ball for Gerrhuven. Oh, and well done. Corner forward this time. Beating Michael Moyes. There's a chance here for Paul Conway. Can he get a boot? And Burke saves brilliantly. Oh, what a save. And Paul Conway seemed to do everything absolutely correct. And if there was any doubt about Burke not saving Michael Ennis's shot in the first half, Burke stood his ground here and did very well to get a touch.
Yes, he stood up for that one. That was the important thing, and he got his block in very well. But the pass that time from Gerrhuven across the field was just exquisite. Fabulous pass and a great save to finish off the move.
Excellent goalkeeping. And Paul Conway can't believe his luck. He knows in his heart he should have finished. But Peter Burke made a great save. Desi Dolan facing the breeze, but again, as I mentioned earlier, it really seems to have dropped just a little bit. Has scored 11 points so far. This is looking good. It's over the bar. A young man who will be facing an operation once the championship ends. One of the brightest stars in Gaelic football, Desi Dolan, hits that powerfully and accurately, not a doubt in the world, as it sailed right over the black spot on the crossbar. The lead changes hands for the second time in this marvellous venue. And Westmeath playing against the breeze. We now have over 5.5 minutes played in the first period of injury time, or extra time, and Westmeath have the advantage. Just a little touch by Rory O'Connell, forcing Mayo to go back into their own half of the field. Kieran MacDonald, goalkeeper, should have been off his line quicker, and MacDonald gets the equalizer. Yes, Kieran MacDonald, just confirmation there. There seemed to be a hesitation with the umpires, but Kieran MacDonald got a touch to it, and just for once I would have felt that Carl Mullen was a little bit slow off his line.
Yes, MacDonald did very well to get on the end of that. And again, okay, goalie out well, but MacDonald squeezed it over the bar. But it must be said, Rory O'Connell and David O'Shaughnessy have had a great last 20 minutes between normal time and extra time, doing very well in the middle of the park.
Carl Mullen will again aim for Rory O'Connell. Breaking ball picked up by Pat Fallon. Good defending by Michael Ennis. Ball picked up straight off the ground, and the referee has given a free to Mayo. And Michael Ennis is very annoyed, but I think the referee is correct.
Yes, correct decision, all right. Michael Ennis went down on that one as Michael Moyes is trying to get it through, and he's given the free to Mayo.
Maurice Sheridan to take this free. He's scored 3 so far in this game. A very scoreable opportunity. Hits it straight over the bar. The initiative again swings back towards Mayo. 1 point advantage. And Westmeath making a change. Cathal Keane is coming on for John Brennan as we see that ball go back over the crossbar. This is Cathal Keane, who's taken up a position at left half forward. Coming through the centre, Rory O'Connell. Mayo players converge on him. Still O'Connell. Good defending. They have it again with Desi Dolan. And Mayo certainly should be applauded for that sort of defending. The tendency always, of course, is to foul, but they did very well there. David Nestor. Kieran MacDonald. Nestor gone for the return. Maurice Sheridan. And very good defending by David Mitchell. And Mitchell wins the free. full marks.
Yes, he's having a very good game in Kieran MacDonald. He's able to anticipate the moves that MacDonald is making, and that was a very good piece of defensive work. And gets 14 metres or 20 metres extra, I think, as a result of descent.
9 minutes played now in this first period of extra time. David O'Shaughnessy drops this in. It's a high one. Ray Kennelly has had a very good game at left corner back, and he wins another free from Mayo. And for descent this time from Westmeath, another 10 metres. Going to be taken by David Brady. David O'Shaughnessy knocks it down. Fergal Murray comes forward. Still Fergal Murray. Gives it outside towards Damien Gavin. Well won by Alan Roach. Trevor Mortimer in a good position. David Nestor is going to give him an option in the corner. But Mortimer kicks from that particular angle from too difficult a position. And it's well wide. Wrong option taken.
Wrong option, probably inexperienced, more or less telling there. David Nestor should have been given that ball. He was in a better position, might have got a score.
Pat Holmes is making a tactical switch. He's bringing Kieran MacDonald, it would appear, out to the half-forward line, and Michael Moyles has now gone in full forward on David Mitchell. Hard work wins the ball for Westmeath, and Michael Ennis. He has to go back towards Fergal Murray. Floats it over towards Damien Gavin. Ball in towards Martin Flanagan. Gets there ahead of Kevin Cowell, but he needs the support to arrive now quickly for him, and it's not there. Ray Kennelly gets it out for his David Brady. Maurice Sheridan takes up the running and uses again David Nestor out this wing. Gets inside Fergal Murray. Still Nestor. Has to use Kieran MacDonald. Onto the old trusty left boot, and that is over the bar. Fourth point of the game for Kieran MacDonald. This time, the result of hard work by David Nestor. Look at Nestor here. Got away from Fergal Murray, which is about the only time he's been able to do that. Held possession wisely and fed MacDonald, and he did the rest. 2 points now between the teams. 3 minutes to the break. And remember, Westmeath will have whatever wind advantage there now exists in the second period. Trevor Mortimer with Damien Healy. Healy did very well. Damien Gavin is there to lend assistance, and a free for Westmeath. It's a terrible ball, and Pat Fallon easily intercepts. He tries to get it over towards Kieran MacDonald. 1 minute of injury time going to be added on in this first period of extra time. It's Nestor again. Back to Maurice Sheridan. Kieran MacDonald, the left boot again. Hits it, and this time it just doesn't quite reach the target. 1 minute of injury time. The fourth official has just announced and confirmed.
Yes, and again, the old malaise that Mayo have suffered from over the years has resurfaced on many occasions tonight. They should have probably got a few more scores in this half with the amount of chances they have had down at that cemetery side of the ground.
The kick out by Cathal Mullen. Well caught by David Brady. This diagonal ball is working very well for Mayo in this extra time and feeding David Nestor in particular. Gives it back to Alan Roach. Hits it accurately over the crossbar. It's Roach's first point in this match, but it gives Mayo a 3-point advantage for the first time.
Yes, and it must be said, David Nestor has been part of the last two moves, working very well to make space and to get on to passes coming from the inside, and very good support that time from Alan Roach, as there was earlier from Kieran MacDonald.
30 seconds left in actual playing time in this first period of extra time. And of course we have 1 minute to be added on. David Shaughnessy pumps it in. Ray Kennelly comes across, feeds it to his brother Noel. And that should be a Westmeath ball. Three points the difference. A 3-point advantage for Mayo, perhaps, going in at half-time. Referee has halted play down at the far end, and it looks like Ray Kennelly again is suffering from cramp this time. Margaret Armstrong is the Mayo physio, and she's just arrived on the scene, and Ray seems to be okay as Westmeath launch another attack. Providing the run is Damien Healy. Still Healy, who seems to have injured himself in the process. Fergal Murray, look at the corner back, look where he is, and he goes for the return. Healy is now up and about again. Westmeath have possession. Paul Conway can't hold it. This is right corner back John Kane, and Kane hits it off the post, comes back out to Damien Healy. Westmeath hold possession. They want it lobbed in. It's a difficult angle, and it's over the bar. Damien Healy gets his first point in this encounter here in Roscommon. And that is a most valuable score with the first period of extra time now completed. And it must be said, despite the tension, despite the importance of the game, it's so good to see players exchange winks and nods and smiles in this pulsating encounter.
As pulsating, all right, certainly. The standard has dropped somewhat and is probably due to tiredness, but Westmeath will be happy to have bookended that half with a point by Healy there at the end and a point by Dolan at the beginning.
After this, Mike, is there?
Well, originally, remember, in the rules, there was supposed to be at the end of the extra period, there was supposed to be another 10-minute sudden death kind of thing after that. So I don't know. I mean, the sun is beginning to go down behind us over the town end here.
Rigor mortis would set in, Mike, to do any more of this.
Did you bring your flashlight?
But no, it is great for the qualifier series. And you look at the crowd that's here Saturday evening.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
what a success.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we give out with the GA, you know, that we get a lot of things wrong in our organisation. This is an absolute spectacular success. Saturday evening, provincial ground, wonderful occasion.
That man there in the middle of the picture has had a great game around midfield. We talked about him at half-time, David Shaughnessy.
Yeah, David has certainly played very well. You know, do you think that man was only picked at the last minute to play? You know, he's really has put in a huge game. You know, Westmeath have I think when you consider Westmeath, what they've done in this year's championship, you know, this whole qualifier round has helped them develop the team. Win or lose today, they'll be a lot better next year because of it, you know.
This is the whole thing about these qualifiers, isn't it? I mean, we've seen more of Westmeath this year than perhaps we've seen in the 10 years previous.
I know you're very comfortable supporting Westmeath, Michael, because they're wearing the Galway colours, and you're a bit confused here down in Hyde Park with Westmeath playing. But you know, I think it is very good, and I think it's a super whole system, this whole qualifier series. And you know, I'm looking forward to the next 15 minutes because you know it's going to be exciting, whatever about anything else.
Well, it's coming up. Back to the boys again.
Thank you, Michael. Well, this is it, the last 15 minutes in this particular tie. And who will be victorious and go into the quarterfinals of the All-Ireland series? Or will we see these two teams in action again if this ends all level? James Nalla. It's a test of stamina and fitness, both physical and mental now. Some jersey pulling down there, apparently by Maurice Sheridan. There was an elbow going in as well, and there's going to be a free out to Westmeath. 2 points between the teams. Westmeath with wind advantage for 15 minutes. First ball for Gary Ruan in this second period of extra time just seemed to bounce off his chest. Desi Dolan drops it in. Breaking ball, well gathered. Kevin Cahill. Doing what good fullbacks do. Catch high balls dropping in around the square. Alan Roach. Over towards Michael Moyles. Looking up to Noel Kennelly. And Kieran MacDonald. Pat Fallon got into a good position. Good interception by Michael Lennis and gives it to Rory O'Connell. The challenge by Michael Moyles was over the top, so it's going to be a free for Westmeath.
I think, Marty, his body's tire mistakes will increase, and in that case you've seen 2 or 3 from Mayo already. Bad handling and poor passing.
The sun could also be a factor here because we've had a dull afternoon, but it's a blinding evening sun, and Mayo are facing into it. McMenamin and Kennelly, MacDonald, all involved. David Brady making a run. Referee spotted the infringement of the ball, and that's going to be a free for Westmeath. Kieran MacDonald didn't understand, I think, what was happening behind his back, and I think that's why he's protesting.
No, I think David Brady actually had a collision with David Mitchell in that case, and the referee deemed that David Brady had taken David Mitchell out of the play, so give the free for Westmeath.
David Brady has also picked up an injury in that collision, and is getting some attention from Dr. Declan Clinton. This is the incident again, as you can see, off the ball, involving the 2 Davids, David Brady and David Mitchell. Warming up along the sideline, Aidan Higgins from Charlestown, who normally plays at corner-back or half-back. David Brady seems to be okay. Here's Aidan Higgins along the sideline. More importantly, the free is going to be taken, but the referee has blown his whistle again, and the linesman at the far side requires his attention.
Yes, I think what has been happening, Ger Heaven and Alan Roach have been getting to know one another in the last couple of minutes off the camera, and I think he's going over now to have a word with them.
Martin Brady, the linesman from Cavan, doing his job at the far side and informing the referee what's going on behind his back. Alan Roach is being spoken to. And a yellow card coming out. Comes the 4th Mayo player to receive a yellow card this evening. So the free for Westmeath, just inside their own half of the field. Still trailing by 2 points. 4 minutes into the final period of extra time. Chance here, Ger. He snapped at it again, and that's where an experienced player like Ger should hold possession and wait for further opportunities.
Well, I think the opportunity was there, and maybe the body is tiring at this stage, but in the first half he got that type of a score. But again, as I said earlier, you can expect that type of mistake from now on. And it's a credit to both sets of players, actually, that they're still applying themselves as hard as they are.
Now that substitution can take place. Aidan Higgins is coming on, and Michael Moyles is going to make way. And Aidan Higgins is going into a forward position, and that's an interesting move by Mayo. It's there for Westmeath, but it's picked up by Colin McMenamin. Not a good ball, really, and the advantage swings back to Westmeath. Time ticks away. 10 minutes left in this second and final period of extra time. Westmeath 2 points adrift. A need to get it down into the Mayo half of the field, but with not that sort of passing or distribution. Westmeath are introducing another substitute. As confirmation of the earlier one, David Hughes is coming on for Westmeath. And it looks like Cathal Keane is going to be the player that's going to make way. David Hughes is a midfielder normally. Plays his club football with Ballymore, an intermediate club. So there's confirmation. David Hughes in, Cathal Keane out. Terrible sideline kick. And it gives the initiative again to Westmeath. And Westmeath, instead of playing it one-dimensional, need to open it up and spray the ball over this side of the field where there's literally nobody at the moment.
No, the tempo has dropped and the standard has dropped considerably in the second period of extra time.
Westmeath have it here, Damien Gavin. Trying to squeeze it out, there was nobody there to help him. It comes out to Pat Fallon. Giving it into the middle. There's a chance here. This is very good running by Aidan Higgins. Down towards David Nestor, knocked away by John Kane. Of injury time, going to be added on to the second period of extra time. David Mitchell dropping it in. 5 minutes left if you put the two together. And Peter Burke takes the kick out again. Westmeath going to introduce Joe Fallon perhaps and give somebody a rest. And coming off is Fergal Murray, who was injured a short time ago. And Joe Fallon, who plays in the forwards, may have to adopt a new role or else they'll alter their team. Let's continue on with Alan Roach. Under pressure from Desi Dolan. Pass given astray, tiredness setting in. David Murphy giving it over for his Paul Conway. In an amazing match. A fabulous struggle. Championship football. Giving it over for his David Shaughnessy. Coming through on the blind side, Damien Gavin. Great run by Gavin, uses the fist, and Westmeath are in front. 13 and a half minutes in the second period of extra time. Are Mayo about to fall for the second time in Hyde Park? Wonderful running when you consider that we're now playing at 25 minutes to 9 and this game started at 6:15.
What you had there, Marty, was fresh legs and confidence and taking on the responsibility and a great score.
1 point between the teams. Westmeath now in the driving seat. 40 seconds left in actual playing time, but we still have 2 minutes of injury time. David Brady. No team really deserved to lose this intriguing, pulsating, emotional encounter. David Heaney going to be introduced for Mayo when the opportunity arises. A little bit of tension between Desi Dolan and David Brady, or David O'Shaughnessy, I should say. And now the free is going to be taken. Referee is allowing the substitution, I think. Two players warming up along the sideline. David Heaney for Mayo. And it looks like Trevor Mortimer is the player that's coming off for the Connacht team. Maurice Sheridan and David Brady just discussing it. And again, Maurice Sheridan, I think, is looking to take the free. Trevor Mortimer, you can see there by his jogging off the pitch, has picked up an injury. David Brady dropping this in. They have to try and release. Oh, what a fabulous catch by Rory O'Connor. A hero for Westmeath. And a sideline ball for Mayo. The Westmeath man punched it out over into the terrace, but the ball is quickly retrieved and Mayo have it once more. 16 minutes played in injury time, in extra time. 1 minute of injury time played. We're into the final minute. Maurice Sheridan drops this in. Comes clear, comes down for David Hughes. Westmeath try to squeeze it out. Mayo have to regather. James Nallon giving it to Gary Ruan. Nallon, they have to orchestrate a point. Brilliantly blocked down, and they're forced back in outside their own 45, the Westmeath 45. Referee is looking at his linesman. Mayo tried to get an equalizer. There's a chance here. The kick by David Nestor is wide of the post.
I'd say that's their final chance, Marty. It seems to me to be time up now with this kick out. But again, it was a difficult enough chance by Nestor.
Westmeath, the team that never won the Leinster Championship, could well now be in the quarter-final of the All-Ireland Series. 17 minutes played. The referee blows the whistle. Mayo are out of the championship. Westmeath are in the last 8 of the All-Ireland Series. The fairy tale continues. Unbelievable, unprecedented, and at times even bizarre.
But at the same time, a very enjoyable game. But it must be said that the last 4 scores actually were got by Westmeath. David Healy's point after 16 and a half minutes, and the only 3 scores of the second half were got by Jerry Heaven, Desi Dolan and Damien Gavin. Gavin's point being the vital one.
A game that saw the teams level 4 times, and certainly a tight tussle all the way to the final whistle. The lead changing hands on no less than 4 occasions in an amazing game. First half was brilliant, second half not so good, but the extra time certainly made up for it.
It was a very exciting game, Marty. The football at times was very poor. Both teams went at it hammer and tongs, made a lot of mistakes. But Westmeath's resolve was that little bit stronger. They made use of the wind in the second half of extra time. And again, when you shut out Mayo for the last 15 minutes, then on that basis alone they deserve their victory. But Mayo will certainly be ruining a number of good chances that they had for goals and points in both halves.
Well, it's Westmeath's day, and you can see from those pictures it's like an All-Ireland victory. But for Westmeath, their minor under-21 success is now graduating onto senior level. They're in the quarter-final, Westmeath of the All-Ireland Series, and they deserve to be there. They've come the scenic route at times after suffering a heartbreaking defeat from Meath, but they fought back admirably and brilliantly.
Yes, it must be said, 6 games and they're in an All-Ireland quarter-final. They've never had a summer like that.
And a game that started at 6:15 ends at 20-9. Westmeath's day, no doubt. Back to you, Michael.
Oh, well, an exciting victory, obviously, for Westmeath, a famous victory for them. Look at the scenes there. You'd think they'd actually won the All-Ireland itself. But you'd have to feel sorry for Mayo, obviously, in an encounter like this. But that's a brilliant win for Westmeath. And also into the Bank of Ireland football quarter-finals as well. Tommy Lyons, you're right, you said they win the match.
Yeah, I think that was like buying a lotto ticket. No, but at the end of the day, you know, the scoring goal was that end. Obviously, the breeze was coming down that way, pitch a lot more than we thought. And like Damien Gavin, what composure. He ran 40 yards with the ball and just punched it over the bar. Did the simple thing right. And, you know, it's great. I think it's great for the qualifier series. You know, you have Sligo playing tomorrow as well. These teams, we've never seen them at this stage before. And I'm telling you, Westmeath will put it up to a few more teams yet.
Well, I mean, this is the whole point about the qualifiers. I mean, Westmeath have achieved a little bit of success at minor